Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look back at the Fountain of Youth Stakes, an important Kentucky Derby prep. The key to this race was whether Dennis's Moment, that top 2-year-old who bombed as the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile after stumbling badly at the start, would get back on track. He didn't. Let's watch the Fountain of Youth. Dennis's Moment broke from post position 4. Look at the break from Ete Indien. Ete Indien breaking from post 10, cleared off in a matter of strides. It was a really great, aggressive, and heads-up ride by Florent Giroux.
Yeah, and it made all the difference in this race. I suppose, drawing the far outside post could have really compromised his chances. As it happens, once he broke running, Giroux made a very heads-up decision to clear to the front. The horse did the rest there. This race is really never in doubt.
Not at all. Dennis's Moment, we see him. He is the number 5. He's in between horses in mid-pack right now, and you'll see very soon he is just simply flat out of gas. There's nothing there for Dennis's Moment. He retreats and run 10th. I don't even know what to make of this race.
I don't either. I mean, he doesn't run a jump in this race. He's becoming a real enigma now, Dan. He had excuses for his other poor performance last year. When he's good, he's really good, but this is 2 real bad ones in a row for him.
The number 6, As Seen on TV, bet down to 5-2 off a big figure effort, wins second behind Chance It in the Mucho Macho Man. He's under a ride, and he's been under a ride for a while, trying to stay close while saving ground in the pocket. And from here, it's just about how far is Ete Indien going to win.
Yeah, As Seen on TV, he's the 6 right there. You see him, he's loose lined all the way up the backstretch, chasing this horse. He just can never really make an impact here, Dan. He is going to be in that 4-horse photo for second, but he's never a threat to win this thing. I think distance has to be a real question for him going forward.
Now Ete Indien is in front, and he's starting to get tired. He's going to start to drift out noticeably right here in about the last, 150 yards or so, but the outcome is never in doubt. Are you concerned when you see a horse drift out that badly? Do you think he just lost his focus? He's been a kind of drifty in some of his other races.
That's true. I'm not that concerned about it. Obviously it's not a good thing. It just, especially in this race, that it didn't look like a case where he was getting tired and drifting. That would be more of a concern. I'm not sure what he was doing there because he ran through the wire. Just felt like maybe he was drifting away from something towards the inside.
It's been a very interesting road for Ete Indien to get to this spot. This is a horse who in his career debut going 5 furlongs on the turf, rallied from way out of it with an eye-catching bid to win. Then last time out in the Holy Bull Stakes on dirt, he showed good speed, finished second behind 'Tis the Law in the Champagne, and then here he is, the winner of the Fountain of Youth. From an auction standpoint, he was offered twice at public auction in America, an $85,000 buyback as a weanling, an $80,000 yearling purchase, and then they pinhooked him in Europe, where Biancone and Company paid $269,000 for this horse. Lots of turf in this pedigree, but also distance as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see what happens if they, take on more distance, I guess, going forward from here. And then I guess he also, he still has to prove that he can do it without the lead. In all 3 of his dirt starts now, he's managed to make the front. And listen, he's run well in all of them. His figures keep ticking up in the right direction. What's going to happen when he lands in a race where he cannot make the lead? I guess that's the big question right now.
He earned a 97 Beyer speed figure for his victory in the Fountain of Youth. That's legit, and it appears that Biancone is going to run him back in the Florida Derby, where it appears likely he's going to have another rematch with 'Tis the Law. And if you just watch the Holy Bull, he was no match for 'Tis the Law that day. He's going to have to move forward.
Yeah, he'll have to improve. The races are going to get tougher for him, and again, he's going to have to try to maybe do it with a different running style as well, but listen, as of now, there's really not that much to knock about this horse, Dan. As you mentioned, he ran really well on turf in his debut, and his dirt form has been rock solid.
As Seen on TV, finished 3rd in this race at 5-2. They say they're going to go on to another Derby prep. Whether it's the Florida Derby or not, I'm not sure. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe he's more of a one-turn horse at this point.
I do too. I think it's more so after the Fountain of Youth, because that was the race where all he could do was chase in there, and he didn't really finish with any punch in that race. I just wonder how far he's going to want to go as time goes on.
Todd Pletcher's Candy Tycoon ran okay at 23-1, first start off of the maiden ranks, and I guess this race is enough to keep moving him forward. He seems to like Gulfstream, as many of Pletcher horses do, and I guess he deserves another chance, but he's going to have to improve by leaps and bounds if he's going to be considered a prime 3-year-old contender.
Yeah, he's got a lot of improving to do. Fortunately for him, it does feel like he is starting to find himself in his recent starts. He was something of a disappointment early in his career. But his maiden win last time out was solid. And in this race, listen, he broke from the rail. He didn't break that great. He wound up over behind horses. He just couldn't get forward after everybody cleared him into the first turn. I thought, all in all, he was very game through the stretch to come out second best.
Shotsky, the winner of the Remsen, was shipped down here, I think probably to give him a good test, and he was tested. He finished fourth in that scrum for the place behind Ete Indien. I thought he ran well. He tries hard. I'm not sure if he's a Kentucky Derby prospect, but if you trust these connections to manage him properly, and I do, they can make money with him in sort of the secondary races for 3-year-olds this year.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, he's just, the more I see of him, the more I like him, Dan. He's just a really good horse. He was never a threat in here, but he's another one. He broke outside. He just didn't have the speed. The winner did. And once he got hung up wide to the first, and his rider did the right thing and just sort of took him off it a little bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, he was wide every step of the way of this race, and he kept racing on through the stretch. He's a really cool horse.
Country Grammar, I think, can improve off this effort. He had not run since a very impressive maiden win in November. He probably up against the track at Gulfstream, passed a few horses in the lane, showing some interest. The kind of horse that you and I feel is going to really appreciate with longer distances and more maturity. Maybe it's a bit too late to consider him as sort of a classic horse, but I could see this horse having a big second half of 2020.
Yeah, me too. I'll be very interested to see what he does in his next start, especially because he had things working against him in here. Not only his lack of speed, but going the mile on the 16th probably isn't going to suit him. He's off the layoff as well. He had a lot of ground to make up in the stretch. He made up some of it. I thought he ran okay. There were things to like about this horse. I'm interested to see what he does.
Dennis's moment, though, the bomb again. 13-10 favorite, backed up to finish last. He's now been last in his last 2 races, and sometimes you just can't explain these things because the Dennis's moment that we've seen in his last 2 starts does not resemble the horse that just blew open the field at Ellis Park and looked so good at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, I mean, his 2 wins have been, really, really impressive efforts, but outside of those 2 races, again, I don't know what to say. He's been a real enigma. This race, they have to be, at least when you go back to the Breeders' Cup, you can make an excuse for him because he stumbled so badly at the start. I don't know what you do after this race, Dan. He did not lift a hoof in here. He was on E before they got to the stretch in this race. So, it's back to the drawing board for his connections.
Well, the winner of the Fountain of Youth heads to the Florida Derby where a rematch with Tiz the Law awaits. Tiz the Law got the better of the Fountain of Youth winner in the Holy Bull Stakes.